welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 61. My name is John Morgan. Cole Coffee is with me. We are back together again after a week away. I'm back here with my boy. We are in Las Vegas, and it was an odd week, Cole Coffee. I'm not gonna lie, man. Anytime I sit down to do a show without you, first of all, I just feel like an idiot talking to myself in a hotel room. But I like to have a little banter. I like to have a little back and forth. I like to have a little a little discussion when I'm sitting there just having a monologue. I feel kind of weird.
Well, what's I noticed as well, like when I listen to the levels, you talk quieter when you're by yourself. Like the levels seemed lower. I don't know if it's just the setup was different.
It was like 3:00 in the morning in my hotel room, and I happened to notice as I looked down on my computer that you look at your available networks and it had Frank Miranda's iPhone.
Oh.
So I guess he was staying in a room right next to me or whatever,
and
your
your voice travels through walls.
Oh yeah, and I was like, I don't want to wake this dude up, man. So I was kind of like,
that's what it felt. I thought you were just, hey guys, I'm in my hotel room, but I'm being very quiet. No, but I noticed that, so I didn't know if it's a matter of like, you're like one of those guys where it's like if there's other people, you're like, okay, hey, it's a hangout session, I can get loud, which. We know that you usually don't have a problem getting loud by any means, but no, yeah, it was different. But I mean, I appreciate you doing the legwork and getting it done, and knock on wood, we keep on going. Another week was in the books, and but it was different. I was jealous. Italy is one of my favorite countries in the world. Someday after we make all the money that we're making after
totally.
MMA, that's the place where it's like, where do you buy a vacation home? Where do you whatever? Italy is the spot. I mean, I absolutely love Italy. I did a study abroad when I was in school and just fell in love with the place. So I was uber jealous.
I was in Milan for Venator FC3 this past week. It was kind of a last second opportunity to go commentate over there with Michael Chiesa. And really ended up having a good time. It was my third time in Italy. My first time in Milan for an extended period. I did take a train to Milan one day and go to a soccer game at the San Siro. I'm a big soccer fan, so I did get to do that one time with my wife. Her sister actually lives just outside of Venice. But you're right, man. There is no better place in Italy. And,
it's beautiful.
And Venator FC3 was some fun. We'll talk about that in just a second. I do want to say, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm happy that you made me laugh already because I'm in kind of a bad mood. I'm not gonna lie. I damn near canceled the show. You talk about one more week and rolling. This was almost the week that it came to a screeching halt because I got bad news, man. I got bad news. My broadcasting career in mixed martial arts is over for as long as at least the foreseeable future. I found out basically that I shouldn't have been doing it at all ever, and I was technically in violation of my contract with USA Today, and yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I feel for you. I mean, because I think it's one of those things where you work yourself up in the sport. You become known. People respect you for your knowledge and what you know in the thing, and it makes all the sense that somebody would want to use you to do those sort of things. And not everybody can do it well. I mean, and you do it well. It's funny. I was talking to Agent Age, and she's like, no offense, she's like, oh, well, do you think now maybe you could take those gigs now? And
wow.
I know, I love it.
Wow.
I love her for it, and I was just like, unfortunately, I'm not good at it. I mean, it's something that takes time. I mean, it's something I would love to do again and more, but those that are able to do it, it takes a certain talent, a certain skill, and you for sure have that, and I think that's came over years of definitely talking. If there's somebody that definitely talks a lot and talks well, it's yourself. There's no need for somebody on the other end to say, "Can I hear you talk, sir?" They hear it happen, and it's unfortunate because I think rather than it be a great opportunity for them to say, "Here's one of our guys out there doing things in the space," representing the brand, they see it as, whatever they see it as, conflicts of interests, or I don't know if it's an ethical things or whatever. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that you didn't ask for permission first. And I've always kind of been one of those people. It's better to ask for, forgiveness rather than for permission. I think that's one of the things I learned at the UFC. It was better to just do it, take your licks if you stepped outside of your bound. And then you just don't do it again. And it's unfortunate that I guess this was something that you weren't supposed to be doing, that they kind of had to come down on you and stop it, because it is something that you are good at doing.
I appreciate that, man. I enjoyed it. It's something I've had fun doing over the years, and I don't know, maybe opportunities will open up down the road and things will change, and who knows? But it's something I definitely enjoyed doing. I'm bummed. So as it stands right now, Titan FC 39 in a couple of weeks in Coral Gables, Florida, will be my final time on the microphone. I hate to say that, man. I really have enjoyed doing it, but I guess it just gives me more time to focus on my job at MMA Junkie, which of course was the job that does pay my bills and supports my family and all those things. The broadcasting and commentary was just something on the side. Something fun to do, and a new avenue for my career. I mean, it's fun. You get a chance to do something new. So, kind of bummed about that. I'm not gonna lie. It was bad news, and I was kind of bummed out. But hey, the chance to have a couple frosty beverages and talk with my boy made all the sense in the world. So here I am, and as it turns out, I'm not the only one that had a crap day, because you had a crap day too. Basically working on contracts. Speaking of, with USA Today behind the scenes, you're trying to get stuff done, and your damn brand new phone won't even work, and it's cutting out while you're talking to the boss man.
Unreal. I mean, I've been with T-Mobile for a long, long time, and I mean, I know people used to always give them crap, and I think people probably still do them crap as for what their network is and whatever. But as they've grown over the years, I've loved it. Right now, I love the fact that their service, we go overseas, and now you're on it as well. The Simple Choice plan that we can, and this is not an advertisement, although it might sound like it. Just the fact that now we leave our phones on roaming. We go over there. We use the data, and you're able to use the hotspots. So, I mean, for the most part, I've been a very, very happy customer of T-Mobile, using it for a long time. I've probably been with it for like 10 plus years or whatever. But my G4 was acting up, and I go, okay, let me just upgrade and do the G5 thing. And immediately I start having connectivity issues to where it's dropping my phone calls. It's not putting data over the wireless network. So, which means I'd have to have my Wi-Fi on to get WhatsApp messages and all these other ones. And I'd get sporadic normal messages, text messages and stuff. So it seemed like it worked for a while, and then it would just creep out, and that was fighting it back and forth. It'd be working, then it wasn't working. I thought it was enough to kind of keep moving. Lo and behold, takes us to this morning, which is when I had my conference call with the main money man that handles USA Today Sports, and trying to just talk about upcoming contracts and possibilities of growth and whatnot. And I would shit you not, it was the worst of all the times for this phone to act up. It literally crapped out. And I was calling into his conference line. So, it's like one of those ones you sit there by yourself and you hear a ding when somebody comes back onto the line. Literally more than 10 times it crapped out. Like I'd be either mid something or he'd say something, I'd drop it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm trying to dial in. You get that damn automated thing like, please enter your conference code or your passcode. You're like, don't. And it's like, please wait while we check. And the whole time you're just like, no, please hurry up. It would connect. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Can we pick back up? I'm blah, 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 blah. Immediately, though, I knew something was going on, so I kind of prefaced the whole call and said, hey, I'm having issues with my phone. I apologize if something happens. I'll call back in. But did I realize that it would go more than 10 times? It finally got to the point, and this is the worst part about it all, because it got to a point where we're both frustrated, and he's just trying to just say a couple points like, this is where we're going, blah, yada yada yada, and then it would cut off. That it finally, when I tried to dial in the last one, it just wouldn't let me connect. So finally, I'm trying to write an email thinking like, this dude's sitting on his conference line waiting for me to dial back in. He's probably already like, what the hell? And I write the email like, I'm sorry, yada, yada, yada. Can you finish your points here? And I'm talking. And then you don't get the answer back right away. And I'm thinking like, oh no, is he pissed? Is he thinking I'm unprofessional? Is he thinking I got like garbage crap or whatever? And finally get the email back, and he's like, oh, okay, here's what we want to work on. He's like, we'll reconnect once you get your phone worked out. So I'm just like, oh my god, this is, of all days for something like this to really come to a head, when you're talking about your contract renewing and other stuff, and when you're able to get a busy man on the line. That is never when you want that to happen. But unfortunately, I feel good. I feel, like I think things are going to be good. But it was like one of the most frustrating things. And I was just, what can you do though? I was so embarrassed by it and so pissed off. I was actually more embarrassed than I was pissed off, which is something new for me. Because normally I'd ready to flip my lid, but at this point I was just like, what can you do except look for like, I'm sorry. I mean, this is a brand new. This is like a $600 phone, and it just turns out that I went through the troubleshooting thing. It literally, what they just believe, it's just a malfunctioning phone. Out of, I don't know how many they generate and they create these things, is just there's something wrong with it. And luck of the draw,
That's the one you
I
got.
got that one, and oh, just so frustrating. I mean, it's been 2 or 3 days of just crapshoots, but of course the most important day of the past whatever 5 6 months, because it's contract renewal time. It tended to crap out, but I think I'm still employed. I think I think they're not going to kick me off. They might.
Maybe they'll give you a raise. Like, this poor dude can't
He
even
can't
afford
even get
a
a real
phone.
phone. So who knows? But
Crazy.
yeah,
So
what
it's been
crazy story.
Been a rough day for us both, but
Yeah.
that's all right. We're here anyway. Getting episode number 61 done. As I said last week, I was in Italy for Venator FC3. I got a chance to call the fights with Michael Chiesa, which was a lot of fun. I've had a chance to get to know Mike over the years. Of course, really, you remember his time on The Ultimate Fighter when his father passed away, and he had that
Yeah, that was heavy.
really odd situation where they let him leave the house and they let him go talk to his dad, and then they actually let him speak to media, and I was one of the two people. I believe it was myself. I believe they might have myself, Kevin Iole, and Adam Hill, I think is who they let us talk to. But so I had a chance to talk to him then, and then just kind of gotten to know him over the years, and so it was fun because I knew him pretty well. Then to get down and call some fights was a great time. He was getting love, man, from the Italian fans.
Yeah.
He's got the Italian heritage. Obviously, he's not from Italy, but his family is, and so he was definitely getting love from the Italian fans, which was cool to see. I think that was kind of their guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was pretty
Does he
neat to
speak
see.
Italian?
He doesn't. He understands a little bit, but he
A little
doesn't.
bit.
But he wants
Yeah.
to kind of learn more, like especially being over there.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
he
sure.
really, it was pretty pumped about it, and it ended up being a fun show, man. We called 18 fights together, which
Wow.
was a marathon night.
That's
but
a long night.
Yeah, it was a marathon night, but it kind of let us kind of gel a little bit as we went along and develop a little rhythm, and we had fun, man. The main event, of course, Emil Meek and Husamar Palhares, just shocking to see Husamar Palhares get absolutely destroyed in 45 seconds by a guy in Emil Meek that, to me, when I was going over there, I'd never even heard of the guy.
Yeah.
And put on just an incredible performance. He had a ton of fans with him, and now, from what I gather, is actually getting some contract offers from both World Series of Fighting and the UFC.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him. I think he mentioned something. I don't know. I was just paying attention a little bit on Twitter. I think he was talking to Per, the USA, our lovely photographer over there overseas, and was talking about maybe trying to get a little roadshow action.
That's right.
So hopefully we'll get him on here, and you could ask him a little bit more about what that experience was like. But yeah, that's awesome.
It was very
Good
good
for him.
It was, of course, the big story of the weekend was Mayhem Miller coming in 24 pounds over. It was really funny
so
because
crazy.
I did the road show. I wanted to speak to Mayhem, and basically, I got there on Thursday. The weigh-ins were on Friday, and the PR people there who were really awesome. They were like, "Listen, man, we'd love to get him for you. We would, but we reached out to him, and he's deep in his cut right now, and so he just can't
What was he
talk.
cutting from 50 pounds?
Exactly.
He was cutting from 50, made it down to 25 pounds.
And I was like, no worries, man. He's he's doing his cut, no big deal. And so then we do this interview with Frank Miranda, where Frank is like, man, I'm a big fan of this guy, and I feel like I want to give him some help, and I feel like if we get him fighting, he'll be focused again. And then he comes in at 209 pounds, 24 pounds over. As it turns out, he never even started a cut. He never even bothered. And I'll be honest, man, I felt kind of bad for Frank. As weird as that is, because Frank had been this boisterous, outspoken, crazy dude on Twitter, but I felt like there was kind of something in his heart. Now, don't get me wrong, and I said this while I was in Italy too. Frank's a promoter. He enjoyed the attention he got from this too. You know what I mean? So it's not like everything he did was just out of the kindness of his heart. But
yeah.
I did feel like he had a soft spot for Mayhem and trying to help him do right. And then when Mayhem didn't even bother to cut, man, I kind of felt
like
bad
a slap
for
in the
Frank.
face.
Yeah, like a slap in the face. Like, dude, here's a dude giving you a chance.
Yeah.
And you just totally screwed him over.
That's true. And I'm kind of the same with. I think Mayhem you either love him or you hate him. And I know from my time when I dealt with him at the UFC, I thought the dude was awesome. He was just such a character. He was out there. But granted, I mean, I didn't work with him or follow him from the old days when he used to do some really crazy shit, and it seems like he's kind of swung back into doing that crazy thing. I'm not sure if something really is going wrong or if he's just misplaced focus that it just allows him to get distracted and he tends to do this crazy stuff off the side. I mean, I don't know if there's real mental issues or anything going on there. I know a lot of people speculate that and talk about that just because why else would you do the certain things that you do? You know, even like in a case like this, if you know you got a big fight and you can do whatever, but not to try to do it, you know, it's like, where's your head at? If you want to really try to do this, you would think he would really push forward. But if there's so much going on and he can't do the right focus, maybe there are some issues or maybe something is going on. But that being said, I mean, I've always liked him. I'm the kind of person, I'm glad somebody gave him a chance and try. And maybe the fact that he was still able to fight, maybe those juices will slowly simmer and kind of get the whole process kick-started for him. And maybe we will see, I don't want to say the old Mayhem back where he's, you know, in his prime and really going, but maybe you see glimpses of it, you know, and maybe by doing this, maybe he will. And it's unfortunate because I think he had a great opportunity that he could have did a lot of good for himself if he really would have treated it the right way. But who knows? Who knows why he didn't do? I mean, there could have been outstanding circumstances that affected the whole camp. Or
it was weird because I was kind of there. Well, from what I understand, the camp wasn't much of a camp.
Yeah.
I think, but you know, apparently he was sober the whole time. Like once he signed the fight, I was told he stayed sober the whole time. But it was obvious he didn't really train. He was definitely out of shape. But it was weird because once kind of things got down to it, it was a little small hotel that we were in, and kind of Venator had kind of taken over this hotel. So like the lobby and the bar and restaurant area, I mean, everybody was kind of hanging out there. And when they were kind of trying to do these final negotiations to get this fight done, Mayhem did actually seem very coherent and very like, listen, man, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did this, man. I messed up. Like, let me get down to 205. I'll go cut it right now. We'll make this fight happen. You know, very, like, apologetic, coherent, like, realize maybe I went too far here.
Yeah.
And I will say this, too. You know, the fight, he did not look great. But I'm kind of with you. Like, maybe the fact that he got back in there will kind of, like you said, rejuvenate him a little bit.
Kickstart something.
I will say this. At the after party afterwards, I did stop by the after party for a little bit.
Wait, you went to an after party?
I know. It was at the hotel.
That's
the only
a
reason I went.
stretch.
But you know, I will say this: that I mean, there were some people having cocktails, and Mayhem Miller, the people that were with him, a lot of the people that were kind of hanging around him were, I mean, they had several frosty beverages, and Mayhem didn't seem to be pounding them, man. He seemed to be again coherent, having decent conversations with people, and I don't know. It's weird because I mean, it's not that the world owes Mayhem anything. I mean, he's had his chances, and he's had some legal problems, but he is a guy that I feel like we've seen forever. The Bully Beatdown show was kind of a fun little saga chapter in his life, and I don't know, man. I guess I hold out hope that based on what I saw, he's definitely not back where he needs to be, but that maybe there is an opportunity for him to still make one more run at this thing.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, again, it's about great action. We love the sport. We love people going out and doing the things they need to do to kind of keep the sport legitimate and keep it this wonderful spectacle of martial arts and whatnot that it is. Whatnot. That's, I think, my first one of the night. Yes. But characters as well. Characters is what builds stories. It's the storylines. You know, now we have a story arc created again with him. You know, here he is sort of down and out and had this moment to try to do it. He falters, so he kicks back down, but now there's that chance where if he can get it, I'd love to see him push back up and return to glory. I mean, what is glory at that point? Maybe it's just having a couple good solid fights where you see real glimpses of what he has been and what he can be. And if he comes in on weight and he puts on great performances, I mean, he's a fun guy to watch.
He's a showman. He still came in with the girls and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, he made it a point to put on a show.
I mean, and he does that well, and that's the kind of thing. I mean, you have a lot of guys out there that try to force the show side of things, and some guys that are just so natural at it, and you just can't stop watching it. he's like one of those guys. And then if he can get the fight aspect back again, he's another cat that I think a lot of guys will sort of clamor to hopefully maybe bring him back. But he's got some work to do
He definitely
because
has some work.
he's kind of getting treated with kid gloves now because you don't know what you're going to get. And
You don't want the loose cannon.
you don't want
off.
the loose cannon to go off. And, unfortunately, that's not going to get him a bunch of gigs.
No, it's not. Well, we'll see what happens next. And the other guy that was fun as well was Cody McKenzie, who snapped a 6-fight losing streak apparently by picking up a victory there. It was crazy because I mentioned it on the broadcast that I had heard that Cody McKenzie was in the bar every single night at a fight week, basically having drinks every single night. I was actually told that at some point on fight day he had a couple of beers.
Really?
I mean,
well, now when you say drinks, now are we talking like a drink or two, or are we saying like getting to the point where maybe he's getting inebriated? I mean,
I'm not gonna say whether he was roadshow ready or not.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying. Well, I mean, you're right, and I didn't hear that. Hey, he was stumbling drunk or anything like that. I just heard he was having cocktails. But most fighters on fight week, I mean, most fighters for all the damn camp, they don't have drinks, but much less fight week.
That's true, but a lot of these fighters, a lot of the guys, they treat their bodies like such temples. A lot of those cats don't really even drink.
Right.
So the fact that they don't do it on fight week's not a big deal because a lot of these guys don't really drink anyways. So, but I think a lot of the guys out there that are super fit, they're able to do this. But yeah, for them, going back, throwing a couple drinks back at the end of the night, maybe with dinner or afterwards, I don't think it affects them like, somebody that really has an issue, has a problem where it's going to affect their abilities the next day, because most of these guys, who knows how stressful the whole situation is, and if it's a matter of he's able to go out, have a drink or two, and then be able to maybe get some decent night's sleep rather than just toss and turn because he's like, oh shit, it's fight week, I'm stuck in this room, and then he's all pent up and then maybe doesn't do the best practices, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's his thing, I mean, I can't remember the fighter's name that with the UFC that I remember I saw him in a bar like the night before weigh-in or whatever, or maybe it was the night of weigh-in, but he went out and starched his opponent, so I was like, hey, keep at it, buddy. Keep at it.
It's funny you say that because actually before I came over here, I was editing some stuff that's going to be up on the site tomorrow, which is Friday, so as we record this on Thursday night the way we normally do. So when this comes out, this may already be on the site, but pay attention to a story coming up from Fernanda Praches about Honey Jason, who is coming off suspension, and she talks to him about this very subject. Oh, Honey drinks like a champ, and he's basically saying, I'm going to keep drinking. Like, it's just me, man. That's what makes me happy. And he did say that when he's training, like he basically said that his training partners that he's moved camps are all a bunch of dorks that don't like to drink, and he's like, it's kind of better for him because they talk him out of drinking. But he said he's going to keep doing, he's going to keep doing beer. He likes beer.
I mean, why not? I mean, these guys put themselves through so much. The discipline that it takes and all the other stuff. Granted, I'm not saying just because you work your ass off, you can go get shit-faced every night. That's not the thing. But I think if these guys, they're in such good shape, and if it's a matter of, hey, you want to go out and have a couple beers, and how that affects you, especially if, I mean, who knows, when it's come to this weight loss and they're doing these camps and they're cutting all this weight, maybe these drinks really do affect them, so maybe it's probably not the best thing. But if these people, if it's in the routine, it's not a big deal, that's not a big weight cut, like a couple beers or whatever isn't going to affect them. I mean, whatever you need to do. I mean, like, just to stay calm and stay ready. I can only imagine the nerves that goes into a fight week. I know if I had to fight, I'd be fucking drinking every night just for the fact that I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself?
Well, Cody McKenzie handled it well. I will say this. He got at the very start of the fight, he gets torched with a kick to the body. I mean, blasted with a kick to the body, and he folds up and falls down. I'm like, oh, he's done. And hell no, dude, he fought out of it, man.
Awesome.
Like, I mean, he had every excuse to quit because he got blasted, and he fought his way through it and ended up coming back and picking up a victory, which was pretty awesome to see. Cody, I got a soft spot in my heart for that dude. He's just an old time prize fighter, I guess, or something. You know what I mean? He doesn't care. He doesn't look like an athlete. Thank you very much. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but
you missed that by being in your room drinking by yourself.
I know.
Nobody brought you beers.
Nobody brought me Frosty Bear. Well, now that I know she's trying to clip my jobs, better bring me a couple cocktails. Fucking ambulance chaser. No.
For all those that now know that John can't do it, I have not signed an exclusive contract to date. I'm just not as good. But hey, I'm available.
Jeez, man. What friends I have around here. All right, well, listen, hey, if you like what you're hearing, let us know. Go to iTunes. Subscribe to us there. You can review us. You can rate us. You can do like my man Oglethorpe, who gave us 1 star, Cold Coffee.
Aww.
And he put John Morgan, reprinter of Zuffa LLC press releases, manipulator of review processes, and voice of the convicted felon, piss off.
Oh,
my day just keeps getting better
that
and better.
name sounds familiar, though. Maybe he's been hating on us before. That's a trollish name.
Yeah.
But hey,
I don't even know what manipulator of review processes means, to be honest with you.
I don't know. That's big words.
I don't know. All right. Well, you could leave us an even better review if you like, or you can just give us 1 star like Oglethorpe, you jackass.
Oh, would that be you're manipulating the review process right there?
Oh, is that what it was?
Maybe that's it.
Damn it.
I don't know.
You might be right. All right, well, listen, once I got back from Italy, it was back to work quickly. I'm not going to lie, I was exhausted. The Netherlands to Brazil to Italy, back-to-back-to-back weeks sounded like a cool idea, and will be a story I can tell my children someday, but I was exhausted. It really was. It actually finally caught up to me, and I did have to take a day where I just played catch-up. But on Tuesday this week, we kicked off UFC Fight Night 88 Fight Week with Aljamain Sterling. We got to sit down and have a media launch at the Zuffa LLC headquarters. Of course, that's the place where I get all the press releases that I reprint, according to Thorpe. But we did have a media lunch there with Aljamain Sterling. First of all, Cold Coffee, is it funny for you to walk back through those doors?
It's odd. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It's different. I mean, it feels different seeing it because as we were sitting there in the boardroom and I was seeing different faces. That I was like, who's that? I mean, I know they've had turnover, and I know they bring in interns and other stuff, but yeah, that's kind of why I ultimately, by the end, I was like, all right, I'm not hanging out here.
You just bounced.
I was like, I got to get out of here. It's weird. Yeah, it's different. It doesn't have the same. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a tough place to go back. I mean, I had a lot of good memories there, but yeah, it's tough going back there next. I feel like the outsider now, and I'm just like. It doesn't feel as good as it used to, but it was good seeing some old faces I haven't seen. I always bump into people that I appreciated for my time there, and but yeah, it's different.
Once they open up the new facility, maybe you won't have that weird kind of taste.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I did drive by there the other day.
They're making some progress.
They certainly are. Man, that's a big spot. It's a big spot. I know they're trying to cram a lot of stuff. I mean, from the location where it's at now, behind the In-N-Out Burger on Sahara, for all you people that want to just crash in there and say, hey, is Dana here? There's a particular office that I could tell you about that. If you banged on a certain office, I would appreciate you, but I'm not going to say it because I probably shouldn't. But there is a certain window. If you would, I would love it. Every day, just walk by and just knock on that window for the hell of it. No, but I'm just kidding. He's
not kidding.
I'm not kidding. 2960. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually the main office. That's not even the right one. But yeah, no. But the new space is ginormous. Just seeing the layout. But man, for what they're trying to cram in there, because there's about 4, 5, 6, maybe buildings at their current location where they either use part of the space or they have the whole space, and they're going to take all these cats and cram them into this one thing, let alone bringing in all that warehouse stuff and a lot of that other stuff that they have over there, and then this gym and the training facility that they're trying to put in there. Just makes you wonder how they're going to fit it all in. I mean, maybe they're going to cut some more people to make some more room for some more fancy stuff over there or something. But it's an enormous space. I mean, it's coming up quick. It seemed like just months ago that they had the groundbreaking. I know it's been a little longer than that, but it's going up pretty quickly now, because now they got walls. You could tell where the second level's going to be, and the sheer size of it. But yeah, it's quite a sight. But yeah, if you're in Vegas and you're going around the 15 or the 215 by around Rainbow or whatever.
Just east of Jones, I believe.
Yeah, Jones and like Rainbow, but you could see this big behemoth of a place starting to to come together. I'm excited for him. It should be interesting. It should make that sale that is supposed to be happening so much easier now that they have a nice headquarters to go with the package.
That's awesome. Well, listen, this is the way our week started off. So we did have, you've seen probably a couple little bits and pieces of this online with Aljamain Sterling, but we had a very long lunch. We're not going to play that whole lunch for you, but what we're going to do is clip out some of the questions that I asked and that Cole Coffey asked as well from behind his camera position.
Oh, just one.
With the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. You talked about what a big experience this is. I mean, when you were going through your contract discussions, and so you were frank. You said, "Listen, I want more attention. I want more hype." And now it's kind of here. So again, this is just the beginning of it. But doing days like this, going and hitting all the radio stations, the TV stations, doing the scrums, what's it like versus your expectations?
I think this definitely meets my expectations. When I first saw my schedule, I was like, "Man, this is a lot. This is definitely a lot to do in one day, and still get my training in, still review tape, because I still do that during fight week, and still, eating the right way and things like that just to get my weight down. Because that's the first fight, it's getting down the weight. But it's cool as long as you can schedule everything the right way and make room for everything and properly prepare stuff. Then I think it works. So right now today isn't too tough. Tomorrow I have a busier schedule, but I'm gonna still try to figure out how to get 2 workouts in, get something in early in the morning, and just get it done. At the end of the day, it's just you got to get it done. Figure out a way to get it done. I know Caraway is getting to relax a lot right now. He's not doing too much. I'm going to carry the torch for this one. So it is what it is. I think it would just make it even more meaningful to me to get a win, knowing that I still had to do all this stuff and still managed to rise to the occasion.
It's funny because the new contract's in, big fight is here, and then you're the featured UFC Fight Pass prelim. Now, we know that's a big deal to the UFC. They're putting a lot of weight on it. But for you, who was saying, why am I fighting on Fight Pass? Why am I fighting on prelims? Yeah. When you got another Fight Pass prelim, what was your reaction?
Initially, I was I'm not going to lie, I was pretty upset about it at first. And I was like, man, I can't catch a break. And I immediately hit my managers up. I was like, dude, what is going on? I thought for sure I was main event material after this whole thing just happened. But they explained everything. They broke it down. I got on the phone with the president of Fight Pass, Eric Winters, and he explained the vision, explained the ideas and everything behind it. And I'm getting the same media attention I would have gotten if I was on if I was on the main card. And if I was just on the undercard on Fox Sports 1, still in the prelims, I probably wouldn't have gotten much media as much as I'm doing now. And I'm on the Fight Pass main event. So it works out. At the end of the day, I get paid the same way to do a lot of media or no media. So I'm just embracing it, man, taking it for what it is. This, for me, it's 15 minutes of fame, man. This thing goes by so fast, and I've learned from all the other great fighters, and even the ones who weren't so great that went through similar situations, and just kind of capitalizing on the opportunity that you have in front of you and make the most that you can make out of it. I'm here to shake as many hands as possible, meet as many great people as I can meet, and make my money, set my future up, and ride off into the sunset.
Before now, could you put your finger on what it was, like why you weren't getting the attention? I mean, did you feel like it was some bias against your style, against your personality, could you pick anything out?
I'm not going to say it's my personality, because no way in hell it could be my personality. I would say it's probably my fight style. But I think even after the last fight, getting the fight finished in the second round, I started off slow, and I'm probably one of my worst critics. I'm very hard on myself. I know I started off much slower than what I would have liked, but that's typically how I fight. I like to gauge my opponents, try to get their timing and their speed down, and I think I mirror myself off of like a Anderson Silva kind of thing. Slow starter, except he's more of a knockout artist, looking to put you away in a spectacular fashion in that sense. But for me, I'm looking to do it in a grappling sense. So I have to take a little bit of time to build up the. It's like little pieces of the puzzle to get to the end, and that's pretty much what I think I like to do. I like to break down my opponents, frustrate them, get them to where I'm strongest, and then eventually the finish is gonna come, and that's pretty much how I fight. So I think that's probably why it's not guns blazing out right out of the gate, and this sport is not about that for me. It's yeah, I want to please the fans, but I think the fans are pleased with me getting the finish. I think when the finish does formulate, then it's like, wow, that was pretty cool to watch.
It's funny because I wonder, like, as you're going along, if you feel like there's a need. I think somebody, a guy like Demian Maia, who had incredible jiu-jitsu, and then at one point in his career, he felt like he had to please fans by being a stand-up artist, and then he finally realized, hell with that, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing, and it's working really well for him. So you're a young guy, you haven't gone through all that yet, but I mean, do you feel the pressure to be like, maybe I need to show more of a stand-up game? You know, people like two dudes just going in there and standing and banging, or do you feel like, I'm really damn good at what I do, I got to stick with what got me here?
It's a little bit of both. It's a happy medium. I mean, people still haven't even seen my boxing yet. They don't even know what I can do, what I'm capable of in the pocket, and it is what it is. I'd rather have those question marks because now people they want to see if this next guy is going to be able to bring that out of me, kind of thing. So I think the mystery behind that makes for a cooler story because now people don't know if I could take a punch. They don't know if I could take getting rattled and coming back. You know, I've been down on the scorecards before and come back and managed to put guys away and managed to come back and win the fight and edge my opponents out. So I've been in different situations where I feel like I'm seasoned and I learn from other people. Like, yeah, Demian Maia, I think he's doing it the best. He's going back to what got him to the top, and that's his jiu-jitsu, and he does a very, very good job of mixing that in with his striking. I think he started to lose when he started to become too much of a striker. And for me, I know I'm competent on the feet, but I know that's not my ace. You know, I'm a very good grappler, very good wrestler, and I'm gonna use my creativity and just my instincts to keep on winning, and that's pretty much the way I'm gonna keep on fighting.
For the casual fan out there that maybe looks and doesn't understand, you know, when you were, because you've kind of touched on this already as to why you think you're the contender fight, but when a lot of casual fans look at the main event, they look and say, okay, this guy was just in the recent main event, I can see why he's going for a title fight. If you had to explain to them why is somebody that's on the Fight Pass prelims, why they should be getting the next title contender, why should they pay attention to that fight and not just who's the main event?
Well, I am the main event, on the Fight Pass main event. But I think for me to explain to the casual fan, I would just have to let them know it's about the resume. I think I build up a better resume than most of these guys, and I'm going to have my time to shine. So it's hard because the casual fan, it's the casual fan, you know? It's hard to really explain to them. It's like you either get it or you don't. So I'm fighting the higher profile guy. That's the best way for me to explain to the casual fan. I beat the better fighter. We are the two highest ranked fighters on the card. So if you're going to go by the main event and not go by the rankings, then that's probably why you're a casual fan. You don't understand what's going on. So let me break it down to you. We are the higher ranked fighters on the card. Whoever wins this fight should be the guy next in line or should be one of the guys who are one step closer to being the next guy in line.
So that was the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, kicking off fight week in Las Vegas, UFC Fight Night 88. Cole Coffey, man, I've really become a fan of this kid. You know, his attitude. I like his fighting style, to be honest with you. I like, kind of where the direction of his career is going. But I gotta say, I think this fight with Bryan Caraway is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. I was shocked to see that Aljamain is the biggest betting favorite on the card. He's more than a 4-1 favorite.
Wow.
And I don't want to say that's inaccurate, but I feel like it's just because Caraway gets no love. People just hate on him because he's Misha's boyfriend or whatever. But I think when you look at the way these two guys' styles match up, I think this is way more competitive than 4-1.
I completely agree with you. I think it's definitely. I don't know if it's about Misha because I don't know if those bettors would really take too much. Me like I love her, I hate him, but no, that seems way too high. Brian's one of those guys too. He just shows up when you put the cards against him. I think he's probably one of those guys that's like, yeah, just keep saying I'm the underdog. I'm going to keep showing you up. Would I give Aljamain? Maybe because of that undefeated sort of moniker. It's tough to go against that. You know, I think a lot of people see every guy that comes up like he's the next messiah, the next big thing. Aljamain is super, super exciting. I mean, he's a great guy to watch. I mean, I love during the fight week. I mean, I love when when we saw him when he did the open workout and he kind of did the little dance routine and played to the crowd. He does all the right things to engage with the crowd. I think he's exciting, but no, I think Caraway's got a great chance to pull this fight out. Just his style, he has a way of sort of directing that fight into his style.
Yep.
Kind of get in there, and I think he likes to throw hands, but also if he gets a hold of you, he has just a way of sort of controlling. That being said, I think Aljamain likes it too if somebody tries to go in, because I think he wants to try to employ some of his own wrestling skills and likes to take it down and do some work of himself. But 4-1, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah,
I'm
a little surprised at that. I will say I love this card. UFC Fight Night 88. Of course, the main event, Thomas Almeida versus Cody Garbrandt, 2 undefeated UFC bantamweights going at it. Young cats. I love the matchmaking. It's bold by the UFC to take these 2 young cats and match them up and hand one of them a loss, because you think you'd like to build them both up. Kind of a light media week. Normally on Thursday night we've talked to some fighters. We haven't. We won't talk to them until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday. This of course is a Sunday card, and the UFC decided not to do anything with Thursday. I think that's understandable. Holiday weekend. We're probably not going to have much traveling media. I'm sure it's going to be pretty much just the local press, to be honest with you. So I think they decided what's the point in doing everything on Thursday. But I gotta say I'm pumped up about this fight, and I was pumped up already just because of the styles of these 2 fighters, Almeida and Cody Garbrandt. But now it's turning into a little bit of a grudge match, man. They're starting to have a little bit of a back and forth, and then we hear today that Cody Garbrandt ran into Felipe Aranches, known as Certain excuse me. Basically, Certain is in here to Certain sorry, I'm putting in my Spanish there. It's that music. Felipe Arantes is here to corner Thomas Almeida, and they've had a little back and forth. And today it almost came to blows. They got into a little bit of arguments in the Mandalay Bay. From what I understand, there was no UFC staff around. They just kind of happened to run into each other. They weren't being escorted anywhere. They just happened to kind of see each other, and words came, and I won't say it almost came to blows, but words were coming, and then security pulled them apart. But it's becoming a little bit of a rivalry between these 2, a little bit of a grudge match.
Did not hear that. That's exciting. I mean, I love when guys come in there with a little extra pepper because something's real about it. I mean, I think most of these guys don't need any chip on their shoulder to go in there and do what they need to do and perform at a high level. But I think when guys have a little something pushing it forward, I think it's very, very exciting. And I'm glad to see a Buckeye, Ohio boy getting in there and getting the main card love, main event love. I think I know we talked about it a little bit too. I was a little surprised that you got just to go back to the Aljamain Sterling and the Caraway, you got a match of 2 higher ranked guys than what's happening in the main event, which is just kind of a little interesting, a little weird. But I mean, I love that the fact that Cody and Almeida, I mean, these are 2 guys that are going to bring it. And I think it's a great fight to be the main event. Just a little surprising that down below at the bottom of the card almost are 2 cats of higher ranked. I think it's just a little confusing. I think some of the casual fans might be a little worried, not just misunderstanding why it's happening. That's why I posed that question to Aljamain. How would he sell the fact? And I thought he did a great job of just sort of dismissing that and saying, I know what matters, and this is what matters. I'm going to go out and prove it. And I agree that he thinks he has the tougher fight, but I think that's a great job of him giving the credit to Caraway, because that is going to be tough. But Garbrandt and Almeida, man, it's going to be a barn burner, man. I hate to always say I don't see this lasting, because I doom it right from the start every time.
25 minutes, right?
But
there.
I don't think this is going to go 25 minutes.
No,
I think somebody's going to get the finish.
I don't either. And I think, man, it's an exciting time in the bantamweight division. There's so many big fights lined up right now. Of course, you got Dominic Cruz and Uriah Faber in the title fight next week. UFC 200, you got Rafael Suncial and TJ Dillashaw. You got these fights coming. Michael McDonald is returning against John Lineker at UFC Fight Night 91.
That's an exciting. I like McDonald. I'm glad to see him back at it. He's always been fun to watch.
The bantamweight division, which was kind of stagnant for so long with Dominic Cruz getting hurt and all that, now it seems like, this is literally like the most exciting stretch the 135-pound division has ever had. And if you look at the MMA Junkie rankings, there's a couple of guys outside outside the UFC in those rankings as well. I mean, you got Marlon Moraes in there. He's going to fight against Josh Hill on July 30th. You got Eduardo Dantas and Marcus Galval. They're rematching with each other in Bellator. So there's just a lot of big things happening at bantamweight. It's cool. Speaking of, Cody Garbrandt actually took to Twitter to gripe about this kind of altercation that he had today. And while I was looking at it, he posted a thing called a cranial facial release. And I'm pretty damn sure this is that ridiculous thing that you did.
I did it.
Holy crap, look at this. Well, I don't know why I'm telling you to look at it. You did it.
That's my buddy. That's my buddy doing it.
That's your buddy that did this?
Yeah, that's my buddy doing it right there.
Oh, my God.
That's why I went and did it. Yeah, I actually held on to that same little squishy thing in his hand there.
Oh.
Yeah, it inserts a balloon in there, and it literally pushes through into your cranial holes or whatever the little areas. And if there's blockages, say if there's deviated septums and other thing. It takes multiple times. I need to go back and do it again because he only did it once in each side, but you actually can take like 3 or 4 times, I think, in each one. But it creates, from what my understanding, a permanent fix. So a lot of people that instead of going under the knife and having surgery, this is an alternative to do it. And it, for the most part, there's no real pain. It's just like pressure and sort of like an uncomfortable sort of thing. And it's quick because when they inflate it, it's just enough where you're just like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then they release and you're like, ugh. But then you immediately...
Does it feel like your brain's about to explode, or it feels like
you feel just like this intense sort of pressure in your nasal cavity? Say when you're really, really congested and you just kind of feel like everything's kind of focused right there.
Right.
It's almost like that, but then an outward pressure. Like I kind of felt it towards like the back of my throat, like in the nasal area, like all that. Because he told me, he's like, yeah, when he did mine, because I'd watch videos and I hear him do it, and you normally hear this crunch as it's like kind of pushing through. I didn't really hear that sort of thing, and he was like, oh man, he's like, yours was probably the best out of all because it just literally expanded all out, so I didn't really have a lot of blockage, which surprised me because I feel like I have blockage back there. I think that's why I snore so much. But no, it's intense. But yeah, no, that's my boy that was doing it. I mean, you guys should if you're into that, it's pretty interesting. But Dr. Petrick, I'll throw his name out there. I'm not sure if he wants it, but I'm gonna give him some free advertising, free whatever. But no, it's intense. But it's yeah, that was it.
You have to go get this done multiple times.
It takes a few times for it to fully do it. It's not like a one time and then it's done, but it just to push through, because it might say if there's a severe blockage or certain things that really aren't going, it might kind of push it open, but then it's not fully. You're not able. The balloon doesn't get a chance to fully expand out. Like when you look it up online, they have better like views of what the balloon does and how it goes through, but it takes multiple times for it to do. But it is a permanent fix. But it takes I want to say maybe like 3 or 4 times to at least be able to do it or whatever. But no, it's intense. But the fact that you can get some of those problems fixed without having to go under the knife is huge. I mean, it's literally done in minutes. Not even that. The procedure itself takes less than that. I think the anticipation and building up to it is longer than the actual process.
Hold on to this toy because it's going to hurt so bad.
Oh, it's intense. But no, it's great, man. I remember after I did it, I felt great. I definitely felt an immediate sort of just could breathe in quicker. Like I was getting more oxygen when I was breathing through my nose and stuff. And yeah, no, I need to go back and do it again. So yeah, I have to tell him I saw him online or whatever. He does some good work. Actually, when I met with Corey Hendricks from Tough, he had been working on some stuff about ankles or whatever. He's been going to the chiropractor and working on back and I think his ankle and some other little issues, just nagging things that fighters do.
Right.
But my buddy, Dr. Petrick, he does a lot of the guys from the Tough series, and he turned out that he was working on some of the guys. I probably shouldn't say. I guess that maybe that's like private stuff or whatever. Well, but I mean, he admitted to me it was just like it's just chiropractic. It's not like whatever. He's not seeing somebody for like ED or some stupid shit. But no, but my boy does good shit. What's this thing? Pain Relief Center of Las Vegas. Dr. Petrick, man, he's legit, man. If y'all got some stuff you need to get taken care of, he's the real deal.
If you need somebody to stick a balloon up your nose.
Stick a balloon up your nose. It's funny. I mean, I went to high school with this cat, so I mean, we partied. We done some stuff. We done some fun stuff. So it's funny because when he did, I was like, who knew that X amount of years later, you'd be sticking balloons up my nose or what?
It's not like the first time you guys did it together.
It's not the first time we done some crazy shit.
That's crazy, man.
But
Well, big news this week: BJ Penn being pulled from UFC 199, which of course is next week. Being replaced by Alex Caceres against Cole Miller. Now, I just wanted to mention one thing because there was one thing that stuck out to me about the whole deal, and that was why it took 2 months for the test that happened in March to come out in May. And I was in Italy, and when I finally got back and I finally got a little bit of sleep, I was able to kind of ask around a little bit, and I just wanted to share what I've been told because I can't get anybody really to confirm it on record because it's a medical deal, and BJ at this point is not really talking about it. But I was basically told the reason it took 2 months is that it was straight up just an IV. It was a rehydration IV. And he admitted to taking it when he had his March 26 sample. And so at that point, they worked on filling out a retroactive TUE, therapeutic use exemption, for the IV, which is something that they can do with IVs because there are situations where you are dehydrated and a doctor tells you, like, dude, you got to get fluids now. And you can't be waiting to get those fluids until you get a TUE filled out. You got to get that stuff done. And then you can retroactively file for the TUE afterwards. But apparently the paperwork that was provided, for whatever reason, it wasn't good enough. I don't know what the reason was, but it was rejected, and so at this time it was not approved, and so that's why BJ Penn was pulled out. I think it's very important to note because he has been adamantly opposed against performance enhancing drugs. I think it is important to notice that even though there's a suspension coming from USADA, it's not a performance-enhancing drug. That's not what he did. He just admitted to taking use of an IV, which by all accounts was just an IV for rehydration. Unfortunately, that is something that's banned by USADA. And, man, it begged the question, and Ben Folks talked about it a little bit this week in a piece, and it's something that I think is just a really interesting debate point, and that is, are we getting what we want out of this USADA stuff, man? It's crazy. All these tests. I think we knew it was going to go bad before it got better. But, man, it feels weird to be ruling people out of fights because they took an IV in practice. It's just odd.
That sucks. I mean, I guess if you look at it, sure, if the rules say you're not supposed to take these things, and by doing it, it is helping you get back in there and perform, but nobody's going to say an IV, and you put that up against steroids, it's not even in the same ballpark.
Well, Jeff Nowitzki, I've talked to him. Of course, he was super involved in the Lance Armstrong thing. He swears to me that he's seen with his own eyes proof that these cyclists used it as a means of flushing out their system, basically, and beating tests. So they would IV strategically
to flush the steroids out of their system.
Yeah, to flush it God, what's the damn word? To dilute everything.
Okay,
yeah, to dilute everything.
You.
And he said, literally, they would be squeezing the IV bags into their system because a tester was coming and they knew about it.
Wow.
They'd get advance word hey man, tester's on the way, and they would just be jabbing liquids into their body to dilute everything and to mask some of this performance enhancing. So,
that makes sense.
He stands behind it and says, listen, man, I'm telling you, because there's people say, well, there's no scientific evidence that this is he's like, dude, I'm telling you, I don't need scientific evidence. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. It's real.
Yeah.
And so it seems that there is a reason for it, but damn, it just feels weird. There is not 1 ounce of BJ Penn's body where I look at him and be like, that dude's definitely juicing.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not at all. But yeah, I guess that makes me think about it. But even then, don't they have tests that then they can tell how much liquids have been put in there? Or is it just a matter of they just say, oh, okay, yeah, you just had extra amount of liquids? I guess if you looked at one of those cyclists that was loading over and they'd be like, holy cow, this is not anywhere near what your body should be of.
You are literally urinating saline.
Yeah, like your tears are pure saline at this point. But yeah, but it's still in my gut. It just doesn't feel right. But I guess I never really thought about that. I don't, stay up on the ways to how you can dilute your system and beat tests. But it just doesn't feel right that if guys are getting pulled because of something like saline bags and stuff, where not long ago that was an everyday practice. And
it's so weird too because kind of like the Crow Cop situation where Crow Cop admitted he was using HGH and then didn't test positive for HGH. but was suspended anyway. Same thing, like BJ Penn said, oh yeah, well I took an IV bag or whatever. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like you don't really want to encourage guys not to tell you the truth, but the thing is, like, it's like when USADA shows up, just keep your damn mouth shut and just pee where they tell you to pee and don't say anything else. And I hate to encourage that type of behavior because it seems like you want everything to be an open relationship and let's talk and let's be honest, but I mean, it's like you can't do anything but get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation. I mean, I don't know. That's tough.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get more on that. BJ Penn, understandably, is kind of keeping quiet for the time being, and maybe more will come out later on. I did want to say, UFC Fight Night 88, the co-main event, is a big one as well. Renan Barao moving up to 145 pounds to face Jeremy Stephens. Interesting, and I'm looking forward to talking to Renan Barao. My understanding, is that Renan did not train with the normal camp at Novo União, the whole team there with Jose Aldo, Dede Perneres, everybody in Rio. That he actually did his training camp at a different branch of Novo União, which I thought was kind of interesting. And apparently, not that he's saying he will fight Aldo or wants to fight Aldo, but he's now that they're in the same division,
he's already starting to separate himself a little bit.
I think he's saying, if we have to fight, we have to fight. And I'm pretty interested with this because Renan Barao, a lot of people say, well, you go up and weight, that's never a good thing. But Renan used to look awful, man. The weight cuts are bad. And I was told for the longest time that he walks around heavier than Jose. But he just did the cut out of the whole team respect thing or whatever. Not necessarily a friend respect thing, but a team respect thing. And I think I'm pretty excited to see him at 145 pounds and just to see what he looks like because, dude, he used to look rough walking around the hotel on fight weeks.
Yeah, it was tough because you felt bad for him because, he was cutting so much weight and he was just out of sorts, And, it'd be great to see him have a little extra weight on his body, and get to see that brow smile as he's having a good time. I mean, I don't know if his English has gotten any better. I know my Portuguese hasn't gotten any better. But I'm looking forward to, I know you said you're looking forward to talk with him. I'm looking forward to working through a translator to talk with him. But no, that's interesting. But yeah, I think anytime, because I was going to ask if there was some sort of falling out, but that makes a lot of sense if they're already starting to, plan for that apparent matchup because Jose, he might get the belt back. If he doesn't, he's still going to be at the top of that division, and that's the regardless of Renan and maybe not being in there for that long. He's such a top level fighter that they're going to meet. The guys at the top meet, so it just makes sense that now that he doesn't sort of have to honor the fact that here's a guy that fights out of the same camp that has the belt where obviously we want to keep the belt here and that kind of thing. Let's respect that. But now that's not the case anymore. Now it's all fair game because he wants to be the top guy.
I was gonna say I don't think he's necessarily angling for I want to fight him. Yeah, but I think he's definitely just saying if I have to, I will.
Right, because if he's got the belt, nobody wants to fight a teammate. Unless you're like Uriah and TJ or whatever, even that it didn't want to happen, but I think it was bound to happen. But nobody wants that. I think, look at what happens with Daniel and Kane. Even though they'll like to joke about, and Daniel's like, heck no, I don't want to fight Kane. But Kane's like, heck no, I don't want to fight Daniel. But they're also respectful, and they don't try to tread on each other's different divisions. They stay in their little areas. They each have their same world, and they're happy to have those belts back at the team, so there's something about the team and there's something about the pride of having multiple belts. I think a lot of guys are, if they know that they can do it, they can make the switch in weights and they can still possibly, fight and get a belt in another division and not upset the team, not upset, a guy that you've probably been working at. No sense in rocking the boat if you don't have to, I guess is what it's kind of what I'm kind of getting at. If you could fight 10 pounds lighter or fight 10 pounds heavier, maybe have a shot, go for it. But hey, if that belt's gone and that's your natural weight and that's where you want to go, it's all fair game at that point. It's not like you're saying, oh, Jose, I know you had the belt. I'm still going to kind of respect it, not fight out of the division. I'm going to let you get it back. But it's like, hey, maybe now's the time that you want to change divisions. Mm-hmm. Maybe let me have a shot at doing it, But yeah, I don't think he's gunning for him. But I think in all fairness, if you have a certain amount of guys at the top of the thing and now there's no belt, it's going to happen. It's bound to happen. I think, especially now, we go to Brazil. You have so many Brazilians fighting Brazilians. A lot of times, it's bound to happen. I mean, that'd be a tough one. That's one of those ones where like, I don't want either guy to lose, type of thing, because they're both good guys. But that would be an interesting fight. That'd be an interesting fight.
I'd like to see it at some point. Well, in thinking about the whole Renan Barao and Jeremy Stephens matchup, you talk about the layoffs that Renan Barao's had, and obviously the difficulty after the loss to T.J. Dillashaw, the second loss to T.J. Dillashaw.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Very, very impressive couple of fights for T.J. Dillashaw for sure. But it kind of got me thinking, because then it made me think about Mitch Gagnon. You think about Renan Barao, he lost to T.J. Dillashaw, then he beat Mitch Gagnon, then he lost to T.J. Dillashaw again, and then there's been this layoff. And then I suddenly remembered, the hell's Mitch Gagnon been up to? That dude hasn't fought since December 2014. So
wow.
I had kind of forgotten. I'll be honest. I don't mean that as any disrespect to Mitch Gagnon, but there's 500 and something people on the UFC roster. Sometimes you forget. You're like, why haven't I seen that guy in a while?
It's hard to keep track of the active guys, let alone guys that haven't fought for a while. But yeah, you're right. When his name came up the other day, I was thinking, is he still under contract? I mean,
exactly.
What's going on there?
Exactly. So I reached out in thinking about Renan Barao and Jeremy Stephens, this fight UFC Fight Night 88. I reached out to Mitch Gagnon's manager and said, let me talk to this guy and find out what the hell's going on. And luckily, I got a hold of him.
Hello.
Yeah, may I speak with Mitch, please?
This is him.
Mitch, sorry about that earlier, man. I apologize. This is John with MMA Junkie.
Oh, hey, how's it going, man?
Good, man. This still work for you? Still a good time?
Yeah, I have time to talk for sure.
Awesome. Well, listen, man. I mean, just to get down to it, Renan Barao's fighting this weekend, and just kind of obviously brought your fight with him to my mind again. I thought, Jesus, it's been 17 months since we've seen you, man. So I just kind of wanted to check in and find out where the hell you been.
Yeah, after my fight with Renan Barao, I tore my ACL ligament in that fight, and I didn't even know about it until 3 weeks after. I felt some discomfort in my knee, but I was still able to move a little bit, and it was, anyways, I got the ACL repair, a few months after, and then the rehab for that is 6 months. So, I just started getting back in the swing of things, and I plan on being back in there by the end of the year.
So, did you know you had injured your knee in the fight at all, or did it just start to feel sore?
No, I complained about it right after the fight, like there's something going on in the knee, but I never felt compromise in the fight one bit. It felt awkward as I was walking out of the out of the cage when the adrenaline was kind of like going down and stuff, and it started aching and nothing crucial, but and then I got the MRI done a few weeks later, and it showed that my ACL was torn.
Wow. I know that's always a tough injury to come back from. I mean, it seems like medical technology is getting better, but what has the recovery process been like for you?
Well, I got the ACL repaired by a doctor in Montreal who's, does a lot of the Canadian fighters for ACL repairs. And, the recovery was going well, and I had a little setback. I tore like the meniscus while I was doing the rehab, so they had to go in there and clean it up. So it kind of postponed my rehab a little bit as well. But now all is good. My knee's strong. I've been back training, and I'm just I want to get back in the swing of things, getting training, and just getting in shape. So it's been a while, so I want to kind of like not focus on the fight, just get back time on the mats, get back my reaction time, and hopefully I get fight around September, October. That's where I'm aiming for.
Are you still waiting on medical clearance right now, or are you good to go?
I'm still, I still have to go see him one more time, but he's told me I'm able to do pad work, some drilling on the ground and stuff like that, but, not fully cleared, but the knee's strong. I'm just taking my time and not over pushing it like at the beginning of my rehab.
Nice. So what's the mindset been like for you, man? I mean, I know that it's got to be a tough deal for you to be out of competition and out of practice. What's it been like for you?
Oh, it's super frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like, right now I'm in my prime. I'm getting a big fight like Renan Barao from going from one extreme to the other. I've learned a lot through that process, and just being, doing all the media obligations I had to do is very, very new to me. And, out of all my losses, I've always came back, way better version of myself. When you're on the winning streak, you don't look at your flaws because you're winning. But as soon as you get a loss, you kind of, reassess and see what you could do better. And, I always do that and come forward and come back for harder.
Have you been working on kind of like the mental side of things, or have you been staying busy, or have you been kind of trying to keep your mind off of MMA?
No, I'm always on it. I'm always, I'm always, looking at the fighters in my division, especially. There's so many UFCs now. It's hard to keep up, but I keep up with the 135 division, and make sure I have my eyes open for up and comers, and just the fighting at 135 is totally different from 55 versus 170, right? We move a little more, and so I try to really look at what people are kind of like improving on, and seeing just the development of the fight game. So.
Nice. I think I read that you became a dad at least during your time off, so that's been something exciting for you.
I have, yeah. I have a little daughter, 7.5 months, and it's been awesome. It's been a different journey for me, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun being a dad.
Awesome. Well, I guess if everything goes well and you get cleared and September, October is the date, do you have an opponent in mind, or a kind of opponent in mind?
No.
I mean, are you looking to get right back at the top of the division, or do you kind of want to ease yourself back in? What do you think?
No, I'm looking to just to get back in the swing of things, and I'm just looking for a fight. Get back to the still competition of training camp, and I'm not really eyeing anybody right now.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time, and obviously wish you the best of luck. Any other last thoughts or messages or anything like that you want to get out there?
Not at the top of my head, man. But thanks for having me on your show. Really appreciate the ring.
All right, you got it, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man. Best of luck.
All right, thanks. Have a good day.
So Mitch Gagnon recovering from knee surgery, a new father as well. That's got to be tough, taking time off and not having your income coming in, having a new baby. That's got to be a little bit scary, but a happy time for him as well, for sure. And looking for a return later in this year. It'll be almost 2 years away for Mitch Gagnon. He's got to be excited to get back in. So, all right, listen. We always talk about social media. If you want to follow us on Twitter, at MMA Junkie John, at the Cold Coffee THE, or Kenneth Hathaway if you want.
If you want that boring old account.
Facebook, we're on Facebook. I don't really do anything with Facebook. I basically just only use it so that I can see my kid when I'm traveling. Instagram, the MMA Roadshow, had some phones there. But I bring it all up because we're starting to really kind of look at social media as a whole on MMA Junkie. It's something that we've been talking about a lot lately. The YouTube channel we're trying to build up, Instagram trying to build up. We may even launch a Snapchat at some point, although I really just thought that was for dick pics.
Yeah, or boobs.
Or boobs.
I mean, you can look at dick pics. I'll look at boobs. I mean,
Look
no
awesome.
judging. I'm not judging.
Great Great place for dick pics. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I just want to throw it out there because I know it's something that we've been talking about as a whole, as a company, and it's something we're looking to build on. So I guess I'm just kind of throwing out there, like the roadshow listeners are obviously the hardest of hardcore. They're the ones that are most dialed into us. And I don't know. I guess I was just, if you can help us know what you want to see. I'm not going to lie. I'm 38 years old. I think I'm too old for social media. I'm not good at it, is what I'm saying. I really don't know what we can put where and when and why and how, and how the hell people consume stuff.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I don't. It's such a damn mystery.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, because you hear things and people. It seems like there's a new study that comes out every week. Oh, all the numbers say you should have your videos this length. All your videos should look like this and have text. And I mean, I guess my question and what I wonder is, I mean, when you guys are going out there, when you're going to Instagram, when you're going to Facebook, when you're going to Twitter, what are you looking for? Are you only mining MMA stuff? And if it is MMA stuff, what are the stuff you're looking for? Are you looking for videos that have sound? Are you activating the sound? Are you turning the volume on? Are you not turning the volume on? Are you doing this while you're at work so you can't maybe turn the speakers on? So do you need videos that have text on them? I mean, how do you I mean, I guess this is a big open-ended question, but I'd love to solicit responses from you guys and just see how you guys interact in the social space.
Or just what the hell you want to see. What are you missing? What do you feel like just isn't out there? Because we want to deliver it. That's what I'm saying. What is missing that's not out there because we want to bring it to you, is what I'm saying. We got assets. We got skills.
I got great assets.
I'm telling you, I have a particular set of skills. Just tell me what it is you need, and I want to deliver it.
Yeah.
We're just trying to guess out there. I figure why would we just come straight to the source and just say, dude, you know what kind of MMA content I need? I need this.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, this will be on MMA Junkie.
Yeah. So you guys will probably see things happening, especially on the MMA Junkie. I know we're going to try to do some more things with like the social videos and soliciting response from different reporters and kind of pushing that out with the hopes that it'll kind of drive and try to spark conversation. We might put a video on a website that starts the conversation, and then have responses from fighters, have responses from reporters, and then we'd love to just get some interaction from you guys. Try to just get it out there and get people talking about stuff. And I mean, I know that if you're like anybody like us, which I know you are because you're listening to this thing, you're the hardcore of hardcores, and we live in this bubble.
Or you're my mom.
Is MMA. Huh?
Or you're my mom.
Or you're John's mom. See, at least you got that. My mom won't listen to this podcast. She should, though. She should, darn it. But no. And so if you'll see things, we're going to throw things against the wall, and we're going to see what sticks. Some stuff might drive you crazy. Other stuff you might love. But feel free to say what you think. Say what you want.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure things out, man. We got Abby Subban on board now. He's no longer just a third-party contributor. He's part of the staff.
He's got a great accent.
We got Fernanda Praches is in place
now. She as
now.
well has a great accent.
Were you trying to throw an accent there?
No.
Oh, it sounded like there was a bit of like your English in there.
It comes out every once in a while. I can't help it.
But yeah, we're trying to get everybody lined up and just doing some new things. So yeah, just tell us what you want to see. Damn it. And also, we have a meeting next week where we're supposed to come up with new ideas.
We're gonna steal your responses.
So you can help us with that.
That's awesome. I didn't think about that.
We have a phone call next week.
If you could give 3 to me and 3 to John.
I'm just picking a round number. Say like 3 each. In case we both wanted to have, say, 3 new ideas at a meeting that we've got next week. That would be awesome.
That would be stellar.
But yeah, seriously, tell us what you want to see. We'll figure out a way to do it, man. We
aim to please.
We aim to please. All right. Well, listen. Not gonna run this thing too long tonight. I'm proud we even got it done because I'm not gonna lie, in a shitty mood earlier, but yeah, I'm in a good mood now.
And we'll probably have some little post fight. Are we gonna do something for this week?
Yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna do something.
All right. So I mean, yeah. So why not? No sense in going crazy on this. We'll have some post fight content coming up this week and give you some latest and greatest. We're gonna try a couple different things after this event as well that we've been talking about. Having a little immediate post fight. Changing the what really mattered, to be a little bit about what's happening right after the fight. So trying a couple different little things. We're trying not to sit on our laurels. We're trying to keep pushing the envelope and keep MMA Junkie at the top of the top of the game.
That's right. That's right. But I'll tell you what, no matter how many things change, one thing will always remain the same. I really, really mean it. Thanks for listening.
All right, now we're done.